I'm amazed by this motorhome, and not from the perspective of someone who just walks in and goes, wow, and oh, but from a practical standpoint, from the perspective of someone who travels, who has a ton of travel experience, and in this motorhome, every square centimeter is thoughtfully designed. It's made for travelers. It was created by people who love RVs, who love RV travel, and who basically know everything about it. There's nothing to criticize here. Everything is done exactly for those who love to travel with homes away from home. This is a Class A motorhome, the Thor Palazzo 33.6. This motorhome is quite literally a work of art. The thing is, it's a diesel. For the first time, Americans have made a diesel Class A motorhome. For those who know, this is an integrated model. A diesel integrated model. What did this diesel engine bring? The thing is, a diesel engine is more compact than a gasoline one. And that made it possible to place this diesel engine in the back. And since the engine is in the back, the entire front is freed from the weight of the engine. And that way, they were able to shorten the wheelbase. That is, they didn't need to move it forward. They shortened the wheelbase. And what did that achieve? It gave it maneuverability and ease of handling. Just to give you an idea, thanks to the absence of the engine here, the wheel can turn 55 degrees, and the wheelbase is much shorter, which means better maneuverability, better stability, and better off-road capability. Look, let's measure how many steps it is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5. Now let's see how many steps there are in this motorhome, the one with the engine in the front. This is a gasoline-powered motorhome, which is a type of recreational vehicle that runs on gasoline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 steps. So here the wheelbase is longer, and here the wheelbase is shorter. So in this regard, they really came up with a very interesting engineering solution. Driving this motorhome feels just like, let's say, driving a Land Cruiser 200. It's exactly the same maneuverability, the same smoothness. And also, thanks to the shorter wheelbase, this motorhome is equipped with air suspension. It can be raised and lowered. You wouldn't think so, but a diesel engine and a 55-degree turning angle, these things are actually connected. How is storage organized in this motorhome? I've always said that. American motorhomes are always very well thought out. But here, it's not just well thought out, it's super well thought out. First of all, they got rid of the carpeting here. Before, there used to be a kind of carpet here that would absorb water, and it was a bit unpleasant. I mean, just imagine, you put apples or onions here, forget about them, they go a little bad, start leaking juice, rotting, and so on, and then it starts to stink in here. All of that was because of the carpeting. So now they've put in a special material here that doesn't absorb water at all, like not even a little bit. Next. Now you can organize all your cargo. It's not like in the back where everything is just thrown in a pile like in European motorhomes where, you have that garage, and if you try to pull something out from the bottom, everything just collapses down. So here, the cargo is organized. For example, onions and garlic go over there, apples go here. See you next time. And somewhere else, there are oranges. Basically, these boxes let you keep things tidy inside the motorhome, so nothing is just piled up anywhere. Well, I don't know, but here you could, for example, put some shoes, right? So you put them there, walk around the parking spot on this polypropylene mat, and then go inside. Yeah, just as an example. And here's the only manufacturer who makes this, the floor above waist level. Thanks to the fact that they make the floor above waist level, they've managed to create this really large hatch. You can put some tall items in here. Well, I don't know, for example, maybe a huge fridge or something else that's big. Right here, the clean water tank is hidden. It's huge, about 600 liters, and you can even add another 400-liter tank. Or maybe even a second 600-liter tank in the underbed space, and you'll have over a ton of water in this motorhome. Okay, let's move on. So here we have the battery compartment, 1, 2, or you could have 3, 4, and you could even add 5 or 6. So the battery compartment can hold up to 6 batteries. Moving on. Next up is this. The electrification of this motorhome. There are all sorts of fuses here, and well, the inverter isn't really up to par. It's only 800 watts. If, for example, we were to install an inverter, we'd go for something around 1.5 kilowatts. That's what we usually use. So you could probably swap this one out and put in a new 1.5 kilowatt inverter. By the way, the motorhome is equipped with solar panels, but only about 200 watts, which is honestly not much. We could add another 300 watts, so you'd have half a kilowatt of solar power. But to be honest, solar power isn't the main energy source in this motorhome. Now, let me show you what's really important, the new water heater. Previously, the water heaters were storage type. What does storage type mean? Water would be poured into a huge tank that was installed. This tank would heat up and you could take a shower, wash the dishes, in other words, use hot water. Then you'd have to refill the tank with water again. The water would heat up in there. So basically, the water first had to accumulate, then heat up, and only after that could you use it. Then you'd have to wait again for it to fill up and heat up, and that's how the cycle would go. This boiler doesn't have a tank. It heats water instantly. So you don't have to wait for the water to heat up in a tank because there simply isn't one here. This is a tankless on-demand water heater. You turn on the water and it immediately comes out boiling hot. So since 1924, these tankless water heaters started being installed. This is the generator's tank. So we pour gasoline in here. The generator runs on gasoline. Here we are, filling it up. So the motorhome itself is diesel, but the generator is gasoline powered, which is why the generator has its own separate tank. By the way, that's actually a good thing, because if you're running low on fuel, the generator won't accidentally use it all up. For example, let's say you parked somewhere, turned on the generator, went to sleep, and the generator used up all the fuel. That can't happen here because the generator has its own separate tank. This generator tank is located on the left side, right where the driver sits, so it's really convenient to pull up to a gas station. You pull up, fill it up, and head out again. So all the fuel filler necks are on the left side. All right, moving on. This is our wet compartment. What is a wet compartment? As you can see, everything here is related to water. Filling with water, flushing the tanks with water, the shower head. By the way, the motorhome has suspension, so you don't have to lean over so much. We press a button, raise the motorhome, and it lifts to a higher level so you can take a shower. Even in this regard, the air suspension really helps. And the most interesting thing is this little door. It closes and everything inside is hidden away. So when you travel in winter, this whole wet area stays warm and doesn't freeze. This is a compartment for storing various things. Here is the actual tank. It uses gas, not cylinders. But the attendants at the gas station don't even realize that this tank is actually for heating the cabin. So under the pretense that the tank is just for refueling the vehicle, you can fill it up without any issues. It's a small thing, but it's nice. And here's another thing that sets this motorhome apart from the rest. All the little details have been thought out. Look, this motorhome has 2 steps here. And here there's just one. Well, you'd think it's a small thing, but they deliberately decided to make just 1 step. Because the fewer the steps, the more comfortable it is. That's their approach. Now here's another little detail. Take a look. Here on this motorhome, the entrance is at the front. See? They even made a separate awning for it. But still, the entrance is at the front. So it's more of a vehicle style option. In all vehicles, like buses, the entrance is at the front. But here, the entrance is in the middle. So you don't need to install an extra awning or open and close it. This awning is brought out right here. And the entrance is exactly in the middle. It just feels more homey this way. The entrance is in the middle. This is the only motorhome with a middle entrance. This is the paint job for the 2026 model year. The thing is, all American RVs used to be completely white. And these things, these stripes, yeah, they used to be made of acrylic. Basically, they would just stick on acrylic and that was it. Over time, it would wear off, bubble up, and so on. For the first time ever in RV manufacturing, Thor used automotive paint. This paint here, there's no acrylic at all, so you can easily wash it and take care of it without any worries. If a scratch appeared somewhere, I polished it with a rag and the scratch disappeared. In general, the paint became automotive. due to the fact that this motorhome has a diesel engine, which is located at the rear, and the manufacturer has created a service grid that allows you to change all the fluids yourself rather than going to a service center. You see, they're all in plain sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's something fifth. I'll have to check the manual for that. In other words, you don't need to go to a service center. You just open the grid and fill all the fluids yourself, including the tow hitch. The tow hitch is rated for 4,400 kilograms for a very powerful trailer. The thing is, the diesel engine has a torque of 660 foot-pounds at 1,800 RPM. You can only reach these specs on a regular gasoline engine at high RPMs. But here, these specs are achieved at low RPMs. It has very high pulling power, and that's what made it possible to install a tow hitch that can pull these 4,400 kilograms. Another thing about this engine is that they positioned it as far away from the bed as possible and insulated it, installing a special soundproofing panel that basically makes the engine silent when we're driving. They also moved the generator as far from the bed as possible, so it's somewhere far up front while the bed is in the back. And they moved the generator as far from the bed as possible, so when you're sleeping, you can barely hear it at all. The fuel tank hatch. I never really paid attention to it before, but it actually is really important. In American RVs, the fuel tank cap is always on the left, as close to the driver as possible. One time, at a European exhibition, I saw some RV where the fuel tank hatch was in the back on the right. Yeah, can you believe someone actually thought of that? With American RVs, the hatch is always right here, next to the driver. And by the way, this RV's tank holds 302 liters. Can you imagine how much that is? 302. And combined with the fact that it's a diesel, well, the range here is going to be really high. You can do the math yourself. Here are the hydraulic jacks for the air suspension. Why was it even possible to put such a good air suspension in this RV? Because they moved the engine to the back. The engine is diesel, compact. This made it possible to remove it from here entirely. And that freed up space exactly for the hydraulic jacks, for good hydraulic jacks. And so right here, that's where they put them. They're easy to service here. There's a hatch so you can do maintenance, make adjustments, and so on. Thanks to the fact that this motorhome is diesel and the diesel engine was moved to the back, the generator is located right here. There's a huge amount of space for this generator, so they managed to fit in this 6,000 watt power unit. I haven't seen anything more powerful. Honestly, I think this generator could power my whole house and everything would be just fine. Can you imagine a 6 kilowatt generator? And what's more? And thanks to moving the diesel engine back there, there's another advantage. This generator is located here, while the bed is all the way at the back. And when it's running, you can't hear it at all. Not a sound. So you can sleep and it feels like there isn't even a generator. But you still have full electricity and a fully air-conditioned space. Honestly, I don't even know. This isn't just a motorhome, it's a work of art. Just look at how much there is here. All this high-tech, all these innovations, how well thought out this motorhome is. I'm just amazed. By the way, the onboard generator's fuel consumption is 0.13 gallons per hour. Actually, Freightliners were originally heavy commercial trucks. And when they started making motorhomes, they brought all the best features from heavy commercial trucks into the motorhomes. They adapted the motorhome itself as much as possible to feel like a regular passenger car. So what did they keep from the heavy commercial truck? The extremely powerful braking system. The pneumatic system. In other words, the brakes here are even more than enough. The brake discs here are huge, designed for the toughest conditions, like hauling stones or other extremely heavy loads and so on. And they kept this braking system in the Freightliner. But for the motorhome, they did the following. They moved the diesel engine to the back and shortened the wheelbase. Thanks to this, the generator is located as far from the bed as possible. Here we have the air suspension pump located. And now the wheels on this motorhome aren't in the front like on gasoline vehicles, but a bit further back. And this allows you to handle this motorhome just like a regular 300 or 200 Land Cruiser. So basically, its maneuverability is very high. The wheels turn up to 55 degrees. All of this is thanks to the engine being moved to the back. In other words, the wheelbase has been narrowed, not extended, which is a very smart professional solution. Adaptive cruise control, multifunction steering wheel. The information display here is as convenient as possible. And all the information is displayed just the way you want it, meaning you can change the color here, switch up the instrument panels however you like. Next, there's this system for leveling the motorhome to 0. You can set it to 0 manually, meaning level it horizontally, or you can use the automatic function. Just press a button and it will level itself. But that's not even the main thing. Just look at this panoramic window. It's huge. So just imagine how you can enjoy the places you travel to thanks to this incredibly interesting and beautiful view. Honestly, there are no words. You can't even imagine how well these seats fit into the overall interior of the motorhome. Now we're going to turn the camera around and show you what's in the back. But let's start with the front first. So look, in this motorhome, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right here, you can have a sofa. 7, 8 sleeping places. These theater-style seats are an option that Americans really love. What does theater-style mean? You just sit like this, right? You sit down. You've got beer here, a fridge over there. You kick your legs up. But still, it's not a bed. And you watch TV. That's why they're called theater seats. Right here, we have another extra bed, which is perfect for guests or children. It's a panoramic bed offering a wonderful view, and kids really love it for that reason. Look, let's go ahead and lower it down now so you can see how it works. So we lower it like this, but we won't lower it all the way. But if you raise these blinds here, you'll get an absolutely awesome and truly panoramic view of the surroundings. Let's lift them back up. Now I'll tell you from a caravanner's point of view. This is actually really important, but usually beginners don't notice it. And it's very important. When I came in here, I was amazed. Let me show you why. Now, I'll show you all the storage spaces. Look. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all real wood, crafted with care. 9, an essential part of the kitchen. 10, adding to the overall design. 11, solid and reliable. 12, blending seamlessly. 13, continuing the natural look. 14, matching the rest. 15, sturdy and dependable. 16, carefully finished. 17, well placed. 18, completing the set. 19, showcasing real wood. 20, bringing it all together. Here's the wardrobe closet, spacious and practical. 21, another fine piece. 22, beautifully made. And 23, finishing the collection. Look. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Can you imagine? Oh, 33 is the underbed space. So, can you imagine how much you can hide and store here? And actually, that's the key to keeping things tidy. If all your things are organized and in their proper designated places, it means you can quickly and easily find anything you need. Nothing will be hidden away or lost. And I don't know, it's just such a cool and clever solution that really shows the thoughtfulness and attention to detail of the engineers who designed this layout. But look, this spot right here behind the grate, basically all the cabinets with these types of grates in RVs are specifically meant for installing a washer and dryer. The washing machine goes down here in the lower compartment, and the dryer goes up here in the upper section. Not bad, right? Now, look, here's something else I noticed in this motorhome. There's no step here at all. Usually when you come in, you have to step up onto something, and sometimes you trip. But here, thanks to the fact that there's no engine underneath, there's no step at all. Can you imagine how well thought out that is? Yeah, and look at the size of this fridge. I've never seen anything like this anywhere. Look how huge it is. I mean, you could disappear into the wilderness for a month with this. Honestly, this motorhome is perfect for living in full time. You could just go ahead and sell your apartment, your house, or whatever and live right here. By the way, a lot of Americans actually do that. And another thing, I'm speechless. I've never seen a kitchen this big, not even in my own home. Can you imagine that? Look, I don't know, it's like 2 meters, right? A cutting surface. This is a paradise for anyone who loves to cook. I'm about to call my wife over and show her. She's gonna freak out. Can you picture that? And there's an induction cooktop. Why induction? Because there's a 6 kilowatt generator. That's why it's induction. And you can't even hear or see the generator. It's working somewhere around here, but you can't hear it at all. That's why they put an induction cooktop here. It's not like with the Chinese models where they just stick in an induction cooktop and who knows what it's running on. Here, the induction cooktop is possible because there's a 6 kilowatt generator. You see, there are no air conditioners anywhere, just air ducts all over the place. It's basically not there. So actually, here, there is an air conditioner, and it's powerful, huge. It's located down below, right there, in the spot where the engine would normally be. But there's no engine here. Here, there's a compressor for the air suspension, a generator, and a powerful air conditioner that smoothly distributes cool air throughout the entire motorhome. Just imagine, that's a really cool solution too. Why put it right here? Just get rid of the engine from there, put it in the back. I mean, in the back! People sleep when the motorhome isn't moving, so it's quiet here. That's exactly why you can put the engine here. And you can't even hear the engine itself. Plus, all the equipment is energy intensive. And the unit that provides us with this energy can be placed here. That way, we get rid of a lot of unnecessary stuff. See, a small solution changes everything. Oh, I haven't shown the bathroom yet. Here's what the bathroom looks like. Well, the toilet and shower are pretty standard, really. Yeah, let's see what kind of toilet is here. Oh, by the way, the toilet? No, the toilet is regular, normal, because nowadays some trailers, not motorhomes, come with some kind of grinders. We'll look into that. The toilet is standard, and the sewage system is American. The black water tank is about 150 to 160 liters, so it's huge. Here's some more storage spaces. Take a look. And of course, bathtubs. Can't do without them. All of this is real wood. Honestly, guys, I'm amazed by this motorhome. Not from the perspective of someone who just walks in and goes, wow, but from a practical standpoint. From the perspective of someone who travels a lot and has tons of experience, every square centimeter in this motorhome is well thought out. It's made for travelers. It was created by people who love RVs, who love RV travel, people who basically know everything about it. There's really nothing to criticize here. Everything is made specifically for those who love traveling with homes away from home. I hope that someday we'll get to travel with this motorhome.
Our company invites you on an incredibly interesting journey across the USA in motorhomes. You won't just see what others have seen like in a travel cloud. You'll see for yourself what you'll experience next year. Caravanning is above all a tool for visiting interesting places. The Library of Congress of the USA, and got to know not only New York, Niagara Falls, Washington, Atlanta, the birthplace of Disneyland in Orlando, the Kennedy Space Center, relaxed in Miami, and we managed to do all this relatively easily in 3 weeks, which is practically impossible if you use hotels and a regular car. But we also got acquainted with the world's most advanced technologies in the field of motorhomes and travel trailers. This is the Type 3 motorhome offered for rent, or you can travel here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. For this trip is on the website. Guys, we're in a state of suspended animation. Right here, this is one of the best beach spots in the world. Right now, they're parking us. Look, each and every spot has this kind of view. These motorhomes are true masterpieces. Every motorhome, every trailer is a work of art. We're caravanning. Here are all our motorhomes. Well, 2 are missing. 2 are out driving somewhere. If you take a picture of each trailer, you get a real still life that you could hang on the wall. And let me warn you right away. If you're not joining us on our tour of the East Coast of the USA, that is, if you're not coming with us and there are children nearby, please have them leave the room and absolutely do not let them watch this segment. Otherwise, you'll start having problems like, Dad, I want to go to Orlando. We will be staying at the Creek Fire Campground. It's approximately 20 minutes from downtown Savannah. Most of us are still in shock from what we've seen.